Welcome. My name is Karen McCoy, and I am a member of the NCNW Northern Region Social Justice Committee, and we are presenting this forum for you today. So on behalf of our President, Ms. Wood, and all of our NCNW members, we say welcome, and we thank you for being here with us today as we explore government today. So we hope that you enjoy yourself and have an exciting time. At this time, we will have Jeff, who will be presenting our overview on how government works and the legislative process. He is a teacher at Gateway High School, and he teaches civics, and he's an instructional coach. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Karen. I just want to say welcome to everybody. It is Friday afternoon, and you guys are here to engage civically. I think that's the most amazing thing you can be doing, because young people, we need you to be engaged for things to really change in our society. So whatever you're going to get out of today, get what you can out of today, because I know Friday afternoon is hard. So I appreciate your time and energy. With that said, we're going to, how do I see what's there is what's here? Let's see. Okay. What I had for you guys is not up there yet. All right. Oh, let me see. Am I switching to a different thing? I'm fast forwarding through a lot.
You probably need to find it.
Okay. It's open. Okay.
Minimize PowerPoint, unless yours is PowerPoint too.
It's just on slides. So, okay, here we go. Whoops, there we go. Let's see if I can switch to it. Not my mode of, all right. So let's just get warmed up here, everybody. Our country has the longest established representative government in the world at this point. So let's imagine we had a king or queen in charge of our society. The king or queen is the government. It used to be like that. Turn to a neighbor. What might be some of the problems or challenges with that kind of society? Imagine one person. Turn to somebody near you. What would you think might be some problems? Go, everybody. Take a minute. Come up with a few problems. You're going to be asked to talk here, everybody. You can do it. You got this.
It's just like one family. So if say the king or queen is like a horrible king or queen, and like your country's turn to drive, then like you're kind of screwed because it's like not like democracy or like stuff like that where you can vote. It's just like one family, they rule the country. That's it. Deal with it, kind of.
All right, let's have a few brave souls. Somebody tell me what might be one of these problems we got here. All right, let's go right here in front with the glasses. Yep, go for it.
That the society is based on one person's mindset and not made for everybody else.
Love that. Great start. Let's go to the young lady behind you. Also had your hand up.
They could abuse their power on others.
Okay, so abuse their power. Let's keep going over there.
The peasants are going to feel like broken than the king or
So I'm sorry, she was telling me something that you said peasants. That caught my attention. What else we got there?
the peasants are going to feel like less like equal than the king.
Okay, so we got a few things. We got one person's mindset, control thing, abuse of power, and the peasants, the regular folk like us, are going to be ignored, right? Going to be ignored potentially. We had somebody else with a hand up. Let's go right over there. Yeah, and then you right there. Yeah.
One of the problems would be potential rebellions. Since it's governmentally under by one person's ideals, then the rest of them will feel very uncomfortable.
Interesting idea, right? One person, we're going to get rebellion potentially. That's no fun, right? I mean, great if you get a good result, but not a great thing to have to go through to get it. One more right there. What you got? What do you mean? School shootings? What do you mean by that? How's a king or queen going to lead us there?
Oh, no, I thought we were talking about,
Oh, just problems we have? No, totally. Sorry. Okay, great. Let's get one more there then. You got an idea. Great. Go for it. So a lot of unfair laws that we would have to deal with, right? And not that there aren't unfair laws now, but there would be even more then, right? I love this, and sorry I keep going like you or you in the glasses. I wish I knew all your names. I'm sorry about that. But I love these ideas because it sets up one of the reasons we don't have this kind of government. So if we look up here, everybody, and we got this thing, thankfully, the U.S. Constitution, which, has anyone ever actually looked at this thing? Ooh, a few of you maybe had to do that in class. Okay, a little bit. And all it is, it's a rule book for our government. And the best thing about it is when there are rules, it means they have to follow it. They have to follow the structures, the processes for our government. No one's making this up as they go. And that's wonderful because we can read and see what those rules are. And one of the best things about those rules is that we actually, as someone started us off here saying abuse of power, is they separate the powers into these 3 branches of government. Now, you've probably heard of the executive branch, and you got your Joe Biden, Kamala Harris down there. A judicial branch, you got this picture of the Supreme Court, 9 folks over there. You got Congress, the legislative branch. Is this ringing a little bit of a bell, everybody? Okay, great. And they use this word branches as they describe them in the Constitution because the idea is let's separate. Every branch has its own little bit of power. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to see what do we think we know already about this. So what I'd like you to do is I have a little handout here. Do you guys have pens or do you need pens? Raise your hand if you need a pen. Okay, great, because I got a whole box of them here. So Miss Marks from my school as well, from Gateway here in San Francisco, if you need a pen, raise your hand. She's coming at you with a pen. And guys, everybody, we're going to take one of the handouts from Karen per pair. We got to share because I originally thought there were going to be about 15 to 20 of y'all here, and we got about 50 to 60. So we're just going to share. Okay, you'll get one handout per pair. And you have a little task. I've given you 15 things the government can do, has power over. Let's wait till everybody's got one so you know what it looks like. Thank you so much for passing these things out. This is sort of weird to be behind a mic for you guys, so, you know, I usually love getting, oh, we got extra pens there. Thank you so much. And there will be some students from another school up in Sacramento coming in just a moment, so it's good that we got some extra pens. They might need them. Okay, on your own, you have a little sheet that tells you all these 15 things that government could do, many of them, you know, not the whole list of everything government does, but with a partner, see if you can identify which one of those branches you think applies to each of those 15 statements. You can put an L for legislative, E for executive, J for judicial, and put it in that first column where it just says your first guess. What's your first guess? What do you think? See how much you think you know. Test yourselves. See what you come up with. Okay. Well, they're going to use this, so we're going to try to distribute. Say that again? Ah, yeah, you're coming across something there. I think there are one or two where you might say it's a little of two of them. I love that. So we're just going to try to even these out. So if we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Okay. We don't have 60 people, so here, let's do let's take out 5 of each. Perfect. That ought to be good. Okay. So to each pair, yeah, just random. This is totally random. And actually, it might be, yeah. There we go. These are just randomly to people in here. Hopefully we get them.
Still working in groups.
Yeah. They can just, each pair can get. Actually, I just realized something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one's,
Yeah, that makes sense.
enforces laws. What's the exact, that one maybe, the other one maybe.
Might be executive.
All right. How many people have tried 10 of them so far? Awesome. How many people have done all 15?
No.
Yeah, nobody's racing. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're in my class. You better be done all 15. Okay. Good job, AP Govers. I see you there. All right.
No. Listen, we're not AP US governance, we're civics.
There's one Supreme Court justices.
Over the head.
This is, I guess. The Congress. Divided into the houses. Makes meaning of laws.
I think the folks from SAC might need some. Okay, how many people got guesses for all of them at this point? How many people got 10 guesses so far?
We got 8.
Good. You got 8, okay. All right, let's take one more minute to make as many more guesses as you can. And one more minute to make as many guesses as you can. If you need the visual up there, everybody, here are our folks again up there. If you're thinking about the visual of who does what here.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, as long as every parent has one. Does everyone
Whatever.
Thank you, Karen.
Pardon.
All right. Okay. All right, here's what we're going to do, everybody. This is going to require a little movement. Does everybody have a little half sheet that says at the top L, E, or J? No, we're still getting some out there. You and your partner should have one. Anyone not have one, raise your hand if you didn't get a little half sheet. Looks like this part of the room didn't get one. Yeah, we're just working in pairs because of limited materials, everybody. So appreciate you guys being flexible. You guys are doing great. Okay, here is the next step, everybody, is let's see if we can turn our first guesses into some actual things we might know or learn here. So here's what you're going to do. You've got a half sheet, like I got the J here. You are going to find people who, whoops, let's, here we go. You're going to find people who have a different sheet than you, and you're first going to read your own, correct your responses based on what you see, but then you got to find the other ones. So if you got J, you got judicial, you're going to see which ones might help you answer some of yours in your final answer column, and then go find people who have an E or an L to get some other answers. It means you might do this to get their attention. You might be like, we're L's, not losers, but legislative branch, or we're E's, we're executive, or we're J's, we're judicial, and find those other people and see if you can kind of get a sense of who does all this stuff that's listed there. Sound good, everybody? Do we have questions? We understand what we're doing? Yes? Maybe? No? We're good? All right, let's do it, everybody. See if you can nail this thing, okay? Let's go. I love the E's in the back. There we go. There's an E in the back. Remember E, get an L, get a J. Yeah, there you go. E's are fun, right? E's are real fun. L's, J's. You might get up. Get up, everybody. Hey, you sit at school all the time. You can get up. Get up. Move about. Shuffle a little. People on the ends might shuffle a little bit. Help each other.
Why did you do this to me?
Because I like people getting up and moving. It's good for everybody. And welcome group from Sacramento. Glad y'all made it. Good to see you.
Cool. Cabinet of advisors who run with something.
We're E. All right, sweet. Let's just try to find it.
Make sure the laws are.
A message to Vallejo High. Mr. Brown said, get up, walk around, move around. I am merely your messenger. If we were in school, I know y'all would be complaining about having to sit down the whole time, right? So take advantage of the time to get up.
Come on, make it work, make it happen. That's part of the process.
Here, I can do that.
There it is. J, okay.
8 is a J. Sneaky there, huh? And I got a feeling the rest of them.
A to J. T to J. A lot, I think.
I think it's like a print. Reprint. That must be S. But you don't write
Dang it. I don't like talking to people.
I'm okay with it. What else?
Treaties with other countries, E. State of the Union address, oh, that's E.
Okay. 14 is
Borrows money, who does that? Enforces the law.
I think 13 is not. No, 12. It's not. Wait,
Yeah, I don't think policy.
so.
See the Union, yeah. Dealing with foreign nations, yeah. So yeah, they declare war to because they deal with foreign nations. Appoint Supreme Court justices. Yeah, they do that. Okay, now we need.
I got a feeling like
We're missing 4, and I think they're all L. But, let's just put all L's.
L. What's an L?
All right, did we get all of them, Aurora?
Nope. We're looking for an L.
Yeah, you're looking for L.
Looking for L's. There's L's over here. Love the engagement, everybody. Keep it up. Let's try to get as much as we can in about, we need 2 more minutes, everybody. 2 more to get as far as you can.
I stood up for most of the time.
I'm proud of you. I love you socializing. That's good. That's good. About 1 more minute. No matter where you're at, let's try to find our seats in the next few seconds. It's okay. We're going to share some of what we could have found. It's okay if we're not quite there. Let's find our seats in about 10 seconds, everybody. Okay, folks. Let's head back to seats and let's see if, did you get the answers on the final answer category. Look up there on the screen. See how you and your partner did there. Take a look. I'm going to stop talking so the closed captions don't block it.
E-L. E-L-L. J-E-E-L-E. And then what's after that?
I can't see it.
Oh, and then L. Yeah, no, we got that.
Oh, okay.
And then after the L, E-E-L. Oh. So we got 1, 2, 4 wrong.
And don't let this be something you go, oh, we got 3 or 4 wrong. Like, hey, it's all about just trying to get some ideas. Do we have questions? I see a hand or two. What questions things we want to clarify a little bit? Questions that might come up just based on what we saw. We are all incredibly clear. All right. In that case, I'm curious, is there one of these branches that looks more powerful or less powerful than the others? Okay, what's your idea there? More powerful. Why do you say that? I love that, because you don't see a lot of J's on that thing, but I like tell us about your thinking. The Supreme Court does suggest they have tons of power. They are the last word. The last word. You get a Supreme Court decision, that's it. There's no appealing that decision. Anyone else have an idea for one that seems really more or less powerful? Yeah, go for it. Ray, who I met just briefly. Yes. Okay, there's a lot of, so he says the executive, right? There's a lot of things the executive branch does. And who's most associated with the executive branch, everybody? Our president, right? That's the big election. And so when we're making these big choices, it's because that person has a lot of things they can do on their own. Yes, Aurora from Gateway, yeah. Yeah.
Are you seriously gonna do this?
No.
Okay, so I feel like the executive branch has a lot of decision power in making, but it's also legislative and judicial to keep them in charge and in check. But it's because they can go ahead, they can like create war, and they are our representative in our model for you, like the nations around the world and everything, to make treaties around this world, and yeah, they also are in charge.
Okay, so Aurora said a couple really important things, right? They are our representative around the world. That president, for better or for worse, no matter who gets elected, they're the face of our nation out there talking to other nations, whether we like that choice or not, right? But she just said something really important, is every branch has a role to play, and they can kind of keep the other ones in check a bit. And that's the whole idea, is when we started with king or queen, is anyone keeping a king or queen in check? No, they do whatever they want. And so a lot of countries, we're not unique, a lot of countries around the world have this system because they've realized it creates a little more stability, people follow the rules, and most importantly, we get to vote for the people who do this, right? And so we're going to actually focus on what I think is the most important power up here, which is, if we think about our 3 branches, which are up there, here's another little cartoony version of it, is, and this actually, everybody, just to be clear, these 3 branches, they exist for the national government. Our state government is set up literally exactly the same. They just call them slightly different things. But you have an executive instead of a president. You got your governor. Some of you from Sacramento probably know all about, see this much more up close, right? But we get that we all have the same structure. And as my students have been focusing on in San Francisco, local governments are literally the same way. We got, instead of a president, what do we have here in San Francisco? A mayor, right? Mayor Breed, who's up for re-election this year. And we have a legislative branch making our laws. So similar things at every level. But what I want to focus on is this one branch, and we're going to do a little activity around it, which is our legislative branch, otherwise known as Congress. This is the one they put first in the Constitution because they thought it was the most important one. And they did this because this is the group that writes, debates, votes on bills that turn into what? Laws. And that's what we live under all the time, right? So this is the one that they thought was most important. They devoted half the Constitution literally to this one branch. And there are two parts of it. You see down there in the visual, the House of Representatives on the right, the Senate on the left. And let's just briefly give you just a quick overview before we jump into our activity here. So every state has 2 senators. You see there are 100 senators on the left there because they're given equally, 2 for every state. Does anyone recognize those faces on the left there? Anyone ever seen any of them before? Those are our 2 senators representing our entire state. The top one, LaFonza Butler, and the bottom one, Alex Padilla. And they're in charge of representing all 40 million of us in California, which is very hard to do, right? And so they're out there debating, writing, voting on our laws. At the same time, in that other half of the building, the House of Representatives, there are 435 of them. And these are distributed based on population. So what they do is they essentially carve up all of our states into little puzzle pieces where each one has about 770,000 people so that everyone gets a representative based on that number of people. Let me show you what this looks like visually just so we're clear, because you get to vote on this person who's your representative in the House, and you get to vote for your 2 senators. So here's a map of the United States, and those numbers in each state tell you how many representatives that state got. So if you look at those white states in the middle, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, does anyone see what numbers inside of those? 1. Because they don't even have 770,000 people in their whole state. If you look at California, we get a whopping 52 representatives because we have almost 40 million people. And so this shows you the numbers are based on that distribution. Texas has tons of people, gets 38 of them. You know, another state that gets 1, Vermont. And so every state gets at least 1, but we get a bunch because we're such a populous state. Is that making some sense so far? Yeah. So what they do is they chop up our state to evenly distribute them. So here is, if you live in San Francisco, we're in the 11th out of those 52 districts, Nancy Pelosi. And if you look on the right, those are all the puzzle pieces for our districts in California. You'll notice there are some really big puzzle pieces out near Nevada. Can anyone guess why those are so big? Why might those be so big, whereas ours is so small? It's not even all of San Francisco. Remember, how many people is in each puzzle piece?
Like 770,000.
770,000. Anyone ever been out there or in the mountains or in the desert in California? There are a lot of people living there, right? So the puzzle pieces have to be pretty big to get 770,000 people in them, whereas in the Bay Area, we have a bunch. You go down to LA, there are about 20 of those pieces in one LA area. So let's see if we can see yours. So this is San Francisco. That little green area, that's 770,000 people. It's not even all of San Francisco. The bottom corner has a different representative. In the East Bay, you'll see 770,000 people there around Oakland, Berkeley. They get Barbara Lee, who's been there for many years. People to the south of San Francisco, stretches way down the peninsula, have a guy named Kevin Mullins. And our Vallejo folks, you have John Garamendi. So his map of 770,000 people you see covers like Richmond and Vallejo, Fairfield, Sacramento. I didn't know y'all were here. Anyone know who the district person is in Sacramento? I don't know off the top of my head. There are 52 of them in our state, and I don't know that one. But these people, they get voted in every 2 years or get voted out after 2 years. And what they do, is they're primarily there. They're one of these, I want to put here. They're one of these 435 members. And they're going to be voting, debating all the laws that are going to be our national laws. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little activity to try to make a law. All right? We're going to see how this goes. So first of all, where do laws come from? They can come from a variety of places. President Biden proposes banning Chinese vehicles from U.S. roads with software crackdown. This happened just last week. He's proposing a law to not allow those in here. Then you'll sometimes see people, average people, pushing for law. Look, students across Georgia participate in statewide walkouts to push for gun reform. They want a national law around guns. Students are pushing for it. And sometimes it's even these organizations. Look, environmental group calls for action to curb California's coastal hotspots caused by ocean acidification and hypoxia. So sometimes it's groups pushing for laws. Anyone can do this, but ultimately those laws have to be introduced and debated in Congress. So we're going to do a little mock Congress, and here is what we're going to do. We're going to write, we're going to debate, we're going to see if we can vote on a bill and turn it into a law. Here's what's going to happen. 1/3 of you are going to be in the Senate, because remember, there are only 100 of them, smaller group. So around here, on this line, this group over here, you are our senators. Everyone from here over, you're going to be in the House of Representatives, a bigger, more unwieldy group, okay? And I'm going to be the president. All right? Yeah, well, anyway, it's just out of convenience here. All right, ooh, yeah, you can protest against me, all right? All right, so here's what we're going to do. Here's our proposed law. There's been a lot of research that you guys are getting up too early or getting too late to things. So there's been a proposed bill, the Humane School Day Act of 2024. It's proposing that school days must be 6 hours or less. They're going to keep the requirements for instructional time for the year remain the same. You're going to get this on paper in a moment, okay? Any school with a longer day would have to cut down its schedule to be 6 hours or less each day. So my school averages 7 hours a day. We'd have to cut off 1 hour. But each hour of school cut would mean an additional 14 days added to the schedule somewhere to keep the same number of instructional minutes, they're saying. So this means you'd have to either cut some summer days, cut some holidays, cut some teacher work days. You guys got those teacher work days, I'm sure. The beauty of it is, when a proposal comes in, what can you do? You can change it as much as you want. All right, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to try to get one bill voted on by a majority of people in this House of Representatives, and we're going to try and get one bill voted on by a majority of people in the Senate, but you have a task first. So I need a passer outer person helper right now. Where'd those go? Oh, here we go. You going to help us out? Again, one per pair. The first thing you're going to do is just you're going to get your thoughts together, because some of us like to talk right away. Some of us need to read and think about it, okay? I'm more a read and think, and then I'm ready to talk. One per pair. So what you're going to do, it says on your own, it really means with your partner. You're just going to read and understand the bill. You're going to raise any questions in the space below, and you're going to try to jot down any pros or cons of this idea. What do you think's good about this? What do you think's bad about it? Any part of it. And if you want to brainstorm changes, you want to take a little challenge, you can brainstorm some changes with your partner. Let's take 3 minutes to do so.
More rest and free time when they're here.
All right, and there'll be a little timer up there. Whoops. All right, each pair needs one. Definitely raise questions if you want to. Are we cutting the school day? What do you think? It's a good idea?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm adding 3 hours to the school day. Adding? Well, yeah, because then it's minus 42 days of school. I'd do that. 7 to 5, but I only have to go for like 140 days a year.
No, but then you gotta think about all the things that you have.
Does every pair have a new after?
I have
Softball, there's volleyball, go to school.
I guess practices would be cut short though. And usually I have like 2 hours of practice. So maybe that would be a good thing. Because then I wouldn't have to
Then
I
my
would only
swim
have
team's
like
cut
1
to an
hour.
hour.
Yeah, I would have instead of 2.
That's nice. Yeah, teach away holidays and
I hear people saying they change things. Great, mark it up. Say something that you would change about it.
more rest and free time for kind of lose time because of all your car rides.
I feel like some kids are like, they like get bored.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we need more breaks during class.
Less tired at end of day.
Yeah. I get really tired.
All right. Who is going to play? See, 1 week, they don't need to do anything special. They just need to kind of help run the debate.
Questions? You got any questions?
Do it? You're thinking about it.
Is this actually a thing? Or is it actually a thing? If it was actually a thing, I do not want to lose many like holidays. Well, I guess if it's like holidays like Mondays, like on Mondays, I would do that. If that's the holidays then I would do that. But like if it's Christmas or summertime, I ain't doing that, bro. Literally.
Christmas is the best.
They don't even give us that much time off.
They give us like 2 weeks for Christmas and like 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah. Ain't doing that.
Well, I mean, summer's like not Christmas, I want it.
Yeah, I want Christmas Day.
The
Summertime?
British get Christmas good. They have like 5 weeks of Christmas break.
What?
But they have no Thanksgiving. But still, 5 weeks of Christmas break.
They must have to do like a lot of work when they get back or some shit. My brother has a really long
get out.
summer and a really long Christmas.
But yeah, they get out of school like
My brother
start of July.
just left like a week.
Okay, folks. I love the thinking. I'm hearing lots of ideas about changes. So here, let's get to our process. What are we going to do next? Whoops. Where is my cursor? Okay, here's what's going to happen, everybody. All right. You have a few leaders. Kiata over here. Kiata, raise your hand. There you go. Kiata's going to lead our Senate group over here. You're going to have to get up and kind of gather around in a moment. Don't get up yet. And then we have Ray. Raise your hand. And I didn't catch your name. What is it? Okay. Johanna, you said? Johanna. Nice to meet you, Johanna. Johanna's going to lead with Ray over here at the House. You're going to have 10 minutes. Your goal is to discuss and debate the bill, propose revisions, additions, subtractions, things you want to take out of there. Every time you make any changes, the leader can call for a vote and say, let's vote on that, everybody. Should we make that change? Majority wins. So figure out how many people you got. A majority just means one more than half. That's it. So even if you disagree, if you get outvoted, sorry, okay? Let's see if in 10 minutes you can come up with your own version of this bill to change school hours, okay? All right, it means people over here, you're going to have to get up. It's okay to stand around during this part. Let's stand around over there. So Johanna and Ray, you're going to have to recruit people to get up and kind of move to this area. There's a nice big open area right up here. House members, Senate members, you got a nice big open area up here or over there. Kiata, get those people up. And who's helping Kiata? I think she recruited a helper there. Well, they might. Okay, Senate, first thing you want to do over there is count how many people are there so you know what a majority vote is, and then start discussing. Let's have House members. It's going to be a big group over there. Why don't we come into this open space? Everybody's standing all clumped up. Come up here. You got plenty of room. This way you can really hear each other and talk to each other. There's space. Come this way. Come this way. We got big space over here. Okay. Let's open up the space so we can really see each other. Folks, come up here. Come up here. Come up here. We've got all this space. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay.
Maybe we should do the same thing and do a little circle over here.
Folks in the middle. Which way you going? Which way you going? You got to get up and go. Okay, everybody come up here.
Did you get a head count?
Keep it up, Kiata. You're doing great.
Like, we're gonna shift the circle this way. That's great.
You guys got to vote on it, though. We need 11 votes if any changes. Otherwise, nothing passes. You might get no bills.
So what's our,
I'll tell you. I'll text you.
Let's count. There's a lot of hands.
I love the Department of Elections. We're trying to recruit a bunch of kids as poll workers. Yeah, so hopefully we're going to have a bunch of our seniors.
About 2 minutes left.
We're like having so much disagreements but like we got like most votes in like people keeping it the same as like the 7 hours. Like, okay, here's the thing. If we kept it the same with the 6 hours minus the 14 days, right? That would just mean like we missed 14 days of summer school. That's it.
1 minute, people. Can we get a vote on something? Are you going to get a vote? Majority rule in each group.
So,
What do we got?
the sick day, the 6 days, and no 14 days, we wouldn't get the whole curriculum unless, you know, you're like in an AP class, an honors class, or anything like that. You wouldn't get the whole 14 days. I wouldn't learn all the stats in that. Just go to Khan Academy at that point. But like, yeah. Now they're like talking about like other things too.
I know you guys got more on the agenda.
Easter spring.
Last chance to vote, people. Do we going to get a vote on anything? Any final votes?
It would be fine, right? We would still have our summer break, our normal amount of summer break, and our spring break, our fall break, and our winter break, right? Just keep in mind, not everyone's stuff is the same, right? Now, if we did the 6 hours minus the 14 days.
Are we going to get a vote over here in the Senate? Senate going to vote? Senate, you got to vote here. Got to vote. Okay, let's have a seat, everybody. Let's see what came out of it, because there's one final. Let's get a sense of what we did.
Telling you what we have.
I'm going to let you say it in just a second. Stay right here. Kiata, did you guys pass anything? Okay. Okay, you want to share that in a second. Everybody, we quickly are going to hear results. Kiata, come up here. The first question we got to ask is, folks, do we have, whoops. There it is. Do we have a bill? Kiata, what do we got from the Senate? Did we get something? Tell us what happened.
Well,
Right here, right here. Right here.
what we talked about in my little debate group was how most kids wanted to have 6 hours or 7 hours or start later in the day and get out of school later. But then there's kids that have extracurriculums and sports and stuff like that. So that's where the debate was really going on, and nobody wanted to really vote on something and talk about something. So that's all we really got.
So no bill. Sounds like our U.S. Senate sometimes. Okay, that's okay. What do we get over here from the House of Representatives?
Okay, so our discussion was actually mainly held about our hours in the days, or the undesirableness of having to have extra days applied to our holidays or summer breaks, taking that away from us. So we came up with the idea of maybe let's do like block schedules, our 30-minute classes with a 45-minute lunch, 5 or 10-minute break on desirability, and a 5-minute passing period. So then that way it's more like we have our desirable days, and you don't have to really cut holidays from people who want to keep them as well.
And did it pass?
Yeah, 3 classes a day.
Right. So we got a bill. Here's the problem, everybody. Yeah, now you guys are happy over there in the House of Representatives. Have a seat, folks. First of all, round of applause for our student leaders here. Love that they did that. Here's the problem, everybody. The president, the next step is always, if a bill passes, the president has to sign it to make it law. But we only have one bill. And this doesn't work that way. The president doesn't get a bill from one and a bill from the other and go, I like that one better. You would have to pass the exact same bill. And so if they liked yours, then they would have to debate yours. And what does this mean, everybody? It means it is really hard to make this work, because through all the debates, what often happens is this. The Senate bill does not equal the House bill, and they can't seem to say, we'll vote for yours or we'll vote for yours. And this is partly why we've had some really important issues make it through one, but not the other. Big issues like gun reform, immigration reform, how we spend our money as a government. And one half will pass something and the other one either won't, or will pass something that really doesn't go with them. And so we don't get one bill that comes to the president's desk to sign. So I want you to think next, as we listen over the next month and a half, to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump promising all sorts of stuff they're going to do for us, that really, who has to actually do it for us? These people, the folks we elect to be in the Senate, in the House, they're the ones who actually have to do almost all of it to get us new laws. And so hopefully you'll be the kind of person who reaches out to them, pushes people in those positions, and votes for them. All right? So everybody, because you know how many bills get introduced, guess what percentage actually get passed as laws? 43%? 47? I can do it with 2 hands. 6% of the ones that get introduced actually turn into laws. So it's hard. It's really hard. All right, so everybody, thank you so much for your time. I love that you guys got into it so much. While you're taking a break, I'm going to ask you just to give me a little sense of how things went with some little emojis and maybe any questions you might have left. So thank you so much for your time, everybody. Really appreciate you.
These are like when
Thank you, Jeff. You did a wonderful job. And thank you, students and youth, for participating. You look very engaged, so it's exciting to see you. We're now going to take a 5-minute break. Jeff has asked you all to fill out some evaluation form as well, but if you need to use the bathroom, take a little break, stand up, move around a little bit, please do. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
We gotta share. What do we get to then? We got to. It's fun. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Now we get break. Okay. I just circled it all happy and then put done. I'm just gonna put that. Yeah. I just interested in what? Sure. Yes. Want to learn more? Yes. Where do you go? Where do I put this? Where's this go? Your feedback. Thank you. I'll take it. I lost my pen. I'll take it. This meeting.
We're in San Francisco. Oh, cross yeah. And probably on the elections productions on so that receives cross currents Monday through Thursday, so 11 to 12:30, and then it'll also go to. I'm excited to talk to you because you're civic. Yeah. And we can talk a little bit afterwards too about we're putting together a youth listening event for the 29th. So we're not all running that option. So we're going to be listening to them and letting them kind of decide. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get it. Let's get this. So if you could just start. We have 2 minutes before we come back from break. 2 minutes. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you're doing today. This is the Civic Engagement Forum. Like, tell me what you're doing. Tell me what these kids are all about. So, what are some of the things? What are some of the things that were encouraging that they have to do? Yeah, well, I think
All right, everyone, let's come back together. So we want to thank Jeff again for taking us through how government works and the legislative process. Now we're going to move into voter participation. We will have Anna Marie from the San Francisco Department of Elections, Outreach and Community Engagement Leader Coordinator. Anne Marie?
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As the prior speaker, Jeff, mentioned this is a Friday afternoon, so we really appreciate you being here and inviting us to participate in the forum. So thank you. As Karen mentioned, my name's Anne-Marie Mabbitt. I'm the Outreach and Community Engagement Lead Coordinator for the Department of Elections, and I'm joined today by my colleagues Myron Thomas, who will be speaking on poll worker service for high school students, and my colleague Max Chang. So we have prepared this 5-part presentation to explain to you why your vote matters, pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds, how to register to vote, ways to vote, and how to get more involved. First, why your vote matters. Voting is your opportunity to have a say. Young voters bring much-needed, fresh, new perspectives to the electoral process. Every vote counts. You may hear that some people mention that they don't think their vote counts. It is important. Some contests are decided by a very few amount of votes. There was a governor's race in 1962 in Minnesota where the contest was decided by 91 votes out of 1.3 million cast. That's how close it was. So every vote really does matter, and we encourage everyone who is eligible to vote to participate. Here in California, we are fortunate to be one of only approximately 20 states that allows pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds. So I was just curious to see how many people in this group are at least 16, if you could raise your hand. Okay, great. All right, so I don't know how many of you were aware that you're entitled to pre-register to vote. So what we're going to do right now, before I get into the rest of the presentation, is we're just going to quickly hand out, Max and Myron, if you don't mind, we're just going to hand out registration cards to everyone. So even if you're not old enough to pre-register, or if you've already pre-registered, you can still hold on to a form just so you can kind of look at it as we go through the presentation. And for anybody who is at least 16 who would like to pre-register today, you can fill out that form and turn it back into us, and we'll turn it into the department downstairs. So as I mentioned, online pre-registration is available for eligible 16 or 17 years old at registertovote.ca.gov or by using one of these paper forms that we're distributing right now. California youth who pre-register to vote will have their registration become active once they turn 18 years old. And in terms of qualifications to register to vote, you must be a United States citizen, a current resident of California, at least 18 years old by election day, not currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony, and not currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court. As I mentioned, there's 2 ways to register. You can register online at registertovote.ca.gov, and you can also register using paper registration forms like the ones we distributed today, and they're available at most public libraries, many government offices, and of course at your local Department of Elections. So as you can see, the registration form, it may look a little long, but it really just takes just a few minutes to fill out. You start, if everyone can take a look at section 1, you can see you have to attest at the top that you are either 18 years of age or older, or 16 or 17 years old, that you're a resident of California and a US citizen. And then the rest of the form is really your name, address, date of birth, Social Security, the last 4 numbers of your Social Security number, or a state ID or driver's license ID number. And if there's anyone interested in filling out the form today and you don't know the last 4 digits of your Social Security number, or you don't have your state ID, you can still fill out the form, and then the department will your elections department will reach out to you for any additional information that they need. And if anybody has a registration form that says San Francisco County, that's okay. Any registration form for any county can be used by any voter in the state of California to register. So if we get a form at San Francisco County that's actually for someone living in, say, Vallejo or Sacramento, we will forward that form to that elections department to process it. It's very important on your registration to make sure your address is up to date. The contests that appear on your ballot are impacted by your address. So that's why it's important to keep your address current. If you do happen to pre-register or register and you move, if you could please be sure to update your address with your local elections department. For anyone who's going to be going to college soon, there's a special rule that applies for college students. College students have the option to register either where their permanent home is or in the county of the school they attend. They just cannot register in both. So if you're going to be going to college soon, you'll have the choice to either register and vote in the county where your permanent home is, or you can register and vote in the county where you go to school. Another category of voters is unhoused voters. And here in California, a person without a fixed permanent address may use a location where they usually stay, such as cross streets or a homeless shelter, as their residential address when registering. They may also choose to provide a mailing address to receive mail, such as a post office box or business address, if they have one. If someone who has registered to vote doesn't have a regular home, they are still free to vote. They would just come in person, either to the City Hall Voting Center or to a polling place on Election Day. And then additionally, voters involved in the justice system, many, even though this law was passed in 2020, many are still not aware of their right to vote. In 2020, voters in California passed Proposition 17, which amended the California Constitution to allow otherwise eligible residents on parole to register and vote. Now, the only Californians who cannot register to vote due to their past or current involvement in the justice system are those that are currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony. And then finally, military and overseas voters. U.S. citizens living abroad but otherwise eligible to vote can register to vote using their last residential address, whether that's San Francisco, Vallejo, or Sacramento. And this is also true for the people serving in the military and their families. And then in terms of returning a vote-by-mail ballot, there's 3 options. You can return the ballot in the mail in a regular USPS box. You can hand-deliver your ballot to an official drop box. Here in San Francisco, we're going to have, I believe, 37 drop boxes located across the city. And then additionally, you can always hand-deliver a vote-by-mail ballot to an in-person voting location. And I'm not sure if everybody knows, but here in California now, all registered voters automatically receive their vote-by-mail ballot, so it comes in the mail. In the past, you had to select that option, but now if you're registered to vote, you will automatically receive your ballot in the mail. But if you would still prefer to vote in person, that is still your right and your option, and you could choose instead to go vote in person at City Hall or at a polling place on Election Day. And as I touched on, as far as the in-person voting options, like I said, those are the City Hall Voting Center, which opens 29 days before the election, which this year is October 7th, or you can vote at a polling place on Election Day. And here in San Francisco, we're going to have 501 polling places, and they will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And this is important to know if you do happen to be voting and you're voting in person. Anyone who is in line by 8 p.m. at a polling place or the voting center is entitled to vote. So if you're in line by 8, the polls have to stay open until the last voter is able to cast their vote. For anyone who shows up to the line after 8, they will not be allowed. But anyone who is in line and available before 8 p.m., no matter how long it takes, you will be able to cast your ballot. And then I'm going to touch briefly on poll worker service, and then my colleague Myron's going to speak a little more about that. But we have several ways for youth to get involved. I realize a big portion of this group are not San Francisco residents, but I'm going to touch on the 3 basic programs that we have that give youth an opportunity to get involved. And if you're not in San Francisco, but you like the sounds of the program or the opportunity, I would encourage you to check with your local county elections department to see if they offer something similar. But one of the first options we offer to youth is poll worker service. Each year, or each election, I should say, we have over 2,000 poll workers who assist voters on election day. We strongly encourage bilingual speakers to apply, and we also encourage high school students who are interested in serving as poll workers to apply. The requirements are basic. You just need to be 16 or older with parent and teacher permission and 2.5 or higher GPA. Another civic engagement opportunity we offer in San Francisco is our San Francisco High School Elections Ambassador Program. And this is a 2-week program that we offer each April and September during high school voter education weeks. And the main purpose of the program is to have our elections ambassadors go out into their schools and neighborhoods and communities and pre-register their friends and classmates and inspire future voters. We feel it's a great opportunity to learn more about the election process while also performing valuable public service. It's also an excellent opportunity to gain important community advocacy and outreach experience. And for anyone in San Francisco who's interested in information, we encourage you to visit the High School Student Programs webpage at the Department of Elections. And then finally, another opportunity for civic engagement, which I hope is also available to the students in Vallejo and Sacramento through your county, is a youth commission. So here in San Francisco, we have a youth commission. It was approved by the voters as an amendment to the charter, I believe, in 1995. And the members of the youth commission are the eligible students aged 12 to 23 serve on the commission, and the members of the youth commission simply get to advise the mayor and the board on issues impacting youth in the city. So it's a really excellent opportunity to get involved and have a real impact on the policies that affect not only you, but your friends as well. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. If you're interested in more information, we encourage you to call the Elections Department, or you can email us at sfoutreach@sfgov.org, or of course, you're always welcome to visit us in City Hall, room 48. So I'm going to go ahead right now and turn it over to Myron for a moment, and he's going to talk in a little more detail about the poll worker service. Okay. Thank you, Myron.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you guys doing today? All right, fantastic. Well, listen, I just got a couple of things I'm going to say very briefly, not only about the election and about poll working, but more specifically, I just want to get a roll call first, because I can't tell you how exciting it is to see all of these different young folks from all over. So just by a show of hands, how many folks here are from Sacktown, Sacramento, in the house? All right, perfect, perfect. How many folks here are from Vallejo? Whoa, Vallejo is in full effect. Okay, okay. Is San Francisco being represented? We got a couple of folks from San Fran. Is Oakland in the house? Oaktown? Okay. Well, that is fantastic. I can't tell you how exciting it is to see you guys from all over. Me, myself, I am the king from Sacramento, just to let you know, so Sacramento is well represented. But one thing that I want to say that's common amongst all of us are going to have an opportunity in exactly 36 days to participate in something that's extremely big. Can anybody tell me what happens in about 36 days from now? The election, yes, the election. And what are we voting on? What are some of the things we're voting on for this election? Yes. President. What else? Propositions. What else? I know there was a demonstration that was done earlier. We were talking about the House and we were talking about the Senate. There's going to be a lot of folks running for Senate. There's going to be people running for mayors. And in each one of your separate cities, these things are going to be on the ballot. Now, the reason why that's so significant is because you guys have the ability to affect the democracy in this country. And the way you can do so is you can actually participate. So we handed out some voter registration forms earlier, and we were asking people just very loosely, who here is at least 16 years old, just by show of hands? Okay, so that means by 16, you are actually eligible to work as what is called a poll worker here in San Francisco. Now in Vallejo, that might be a little different. In Sacramento, that might be a little different. How many folks here are 18? Do I have any 18-year-olds in the house? Okay, we got a couple 18s. How about folks that are 17 but will be 18 by November 5th? No, by November 5th. So if you are 17 and will be 18 by November 5th, or are currently 18 right now, you can actually register to vote and vote in this election. So not only can you participate by being what is called a poll worker, which I'm going to go over very shortly, but you can also participate by casting your ballot. So if you have not registered to vote, and you will be at least 18 by November 5th, please do so, because this is a historic election. And every election is important, but this is especially important, because we get to decide on who the leader of the country is going to be. Now, one of the things that we do not do as part of San Francisco's Board of Elections is we do not tell you who you should vote for. We just want to make sure that you can have a fair and a safe and free and functioning election, meaning that you and any of the voters can not only go to the polling place, but can actually cast your ballot in a safe and free and fair environment. That is what we do here at the San Francisco Department of Elections. Now, very briefly, I'm going to explain to you what a poll worker is. Now, a poll worker has a primary responsibility to assist the voter. Now, what I mean by that is whenever you go to a polling place to cast a ballot, they enter into the voting precinct and they ask and give their name and they give their address, and then a poll worker will find that voter in a roster and then give that voter a ballot. Once that voter receives a ballot, they will then make their selections, and then they will cast their ballot in a machine that looks very similar to the one over here to my left. Once they cast their ballot, they will then receive the highly coveted I voted sticker, and then they have done their civic duty for the day. But in order for this whole process to work, we need people like you to work at the polling place. So the way that you can do so is you can sign up to be what is called a poll worker, which in my opinion is the quintessential component to the whole process. Our democracy does not function unless we have people like you working the polls. So that's why we're recruiting people to work as poll workers. Now, one of the benefits is, and this does apply no matter where you're from. So if you're from Oakland, if you're from San Fran, if you're from Sacramento, Vallejo in the house, you can work as a poll worker and actually get money, which we call a stipend. Now, the range does vary. Here, you get $225 for 1 day of service, and you do get the day off from school. Yes, I know you like that. So again, you do get the day off from school. Yeah, and the day is November 5th, which is always the first Tuesday, or the second Tuesday of every November. So just always remember that, November 5th. That is when we actually hold our elections. And again, you will get that day off as long as it's okay with your teacher and of course your parents, and you will get $225 to work as a poll worker here in San Francisco. Now the rate might be a little different in Vallejo, might be a little different in Sacramento, but this applies all across the board. You got a question, miss? Yes?
So if I live in Vallejo and I want to be a poll worker here, can I do that?
Technically you could, but they would have poll workers in Vallejo. Like I said, it's not exclusive to just the city where you're from. Actually, wherever they're conducting voting, they will have a precinct, a polling place, or a vote center where you could actually work. And they have similar programs all over the United States. Yes, ma'am?
Can we get community service hours for it?
Absolutely. So she actually brought up a very good point.
No.
Seniors, if you need to fulfill community service, this also counts towards community service. So yes, anything that you do actually at the polling place on election day goes towards that. Yes, ma'am?
Where do we go to apply?
That's a good question. You're from Vallejo?
Yeah.
So I would say you need to contact, see, I'm not too familiar with the Vallejo city government in terms of where they do their elections, But if you type in or you Google search Vallejo and elections, it should take you to something that's either like a register of voters or a city council or something to that website that could direct you there. Unfortunately, I don't know Vallejo. I know in Sacramento, you can actually go to Sacramento government or Secretary of State and they'll give you that listing as well. You have a question, ma'am?
Oh, yeah. So the Vallejo NACP, we adopted a poll. So if you want to see me after, I can take some of the information for you. So the NACP Vallejo did adopt a poll, but we don't get paid $225 in Vallejo. We get paid $100 for the day.
Well, there you go. But still, cash money is always good.
Everyone's gonna drive here.
Yes, cash money is always good. But again, what's really important is that you are performing community service to help your community. So again, that is one of the things, like I said, I'm very passionate when I see young folks like you, because this is your chance to not only participate, but to be involved. We did a presentation 2 days ago at Waldorf High School, not too far from here. And one of the students asked me, he said, hey man, how do I watch the election? Man, I want to watch the election. And I was trying to stress to him, you're not going to be watching the election, you're going to be part of it. You're going to be part of the process. So again, this is a very historic time. Please take the opportunity to get involved because it only happens once every 4 years where we get a chance to pick who the president's going to be. And you can actually be a participant in the actual story. You had a question?
Yeah, how old are you?
Here in San Francisco, you need to be at least 16. Now, it may vary in your particular location. Usually, 17 years old is your eligibility. I know in Los Angeles that's the way, I know that's how it is in Sacramento, but you have to find out specifically in your specific city. But I'm pretty sure they'll make it, they can make it happen if you really would like to participate. Any other questions? All right, well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to see you guys here. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Anne Marie, but thank you guys for your time. And again, hopefully we see you November 5th. Yes.
Myron, thank you very much. Okay, so I guess I'd like to see a show of hands. Is there anybody here today who would like to take a few minutes to fill out a registration form and turn it back into us? So if there's anyone who would like to do that, I will definitely want to leave you the time to do that so you can turn it back into us. But since we have more time, if everyone's interested, we wanted to give you an opportunity to fill out at least a portion of a ballot and cast it in a machine if you like. Now, these demonstration ballots that we brought today for you to use for this, there's a side that contains what would be normal, like a regular contest, where you're voting either for one or for, in this case, you can vote up to 3 choices. On the other side of this demonstration ballot is a ranked choice contest. And not all counties use the ranked choice voting system. Here in San Francisco, we used ranked choice voting to elect our local offices only. So we're going to have, if you'd like, you can practice filling out a ranked choice contest as well. So on the ranked choice, if everybody can look for just a second, on this side, this is the side with the ranked choice contest. In a ranked choice contest, you can rank from 1 up to, in this case, 10 preferences on your ballot. So if you're looking at these choices and it's asking you to select what your favorite landscape is, if you only like one or a few of these landscapes, that's all you have to rank. You don't have to rank all 10. You can just rank the candidates that you are interested in, and that's it. On the other side, like I said, you'll either be voting for 1, or in this case, you'll be voting for up to 3. But we're going to give everybody about 10 minutes to go ahead right now and to complete this if you'd like, and then you'll have a chance to go cast it in the machine. Okay?
Alright, let's go. Glacier's cold, so that's going 6.
Emily, do you want one?
Mountain, I don't like mountain. 7. Ocean, 8. Forest, 4. Beach will go 4. Desert will go 5. Waterfall will go 3. Canyons 2. Okay, so River 9, Valley 10. Wait, no, I like that. Oh, this is me. Okay, flower. Riverwood, none. Yeah, exactly. Ranked.
Pass the ballot.
So like ocean, like is it what do you rank it out of 10 and you can only put one in each? And one's the best.
Thank you for saying the same thing at the same
Like out of your favorites?
Same.
Yeah. Like what's your favorite? What's your I put them wrong, but like I didn't want to plan it, so I just put it and then I messed it up. That's cool.
If anybody has any questions, just let us know.
Mine is pretty standard. My top three each. Forest. Everything else is 5. It doesn't. That's why when I play anybody, bro, I probably word at the end. I'm not playing. Not even. I could be winning first place all the other times. Then I can sit down.
I go drifting everywhere. My phone really pressed my
It's a free now.
Oh, Max, one question, I think. Okay, can I see a show of hands? Is everybody ready? Good to go? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go row by row, okay? And we're going to have you walk over, cast your ballot into the machine. I'll just let you know now, if everything looks good on the ballot, the machine's going to take it, and then eventually you're going to hear a ding, and that means it's been accepted. A lot of times people make mistakes on their ballot, or maybe their mark in the circle goes a little astray and it's outside the mark. If there's anything that the machine can't read, or if someone's made a mistake, so we'll see how it goes on the rank, especially on the ranked choice contest. On the ranked choice contest, if you double up in a column or a row, That's an error, and the machine's going to spit the ballot back, and it gives an explanation of what the problem is, and it gives the voter an option to either correct it or resubmit their ballot as is, okay? So some people may get a ding, and some people may get their ballot spit back. That's okay. It'll be a chance for you to see what happens if someone makes a mistake and what the machine gives you the option to do. Okay, so if everybody's ready, we're going to start with the first 2 rows, so there's not too many people. I mean,
This is cool. They're going to get to put their,
yeah,
put their ballot.
Hey, so, what comes that money, guys?
No, we don't do it.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Old-fashioned way. I still like to go. Oh, what's up?
I wouldn't wait 2 years. That's the thing. I'm not doing it. No, it can't be now. I no.
And then
Can I plug it in while this laptop is still working or no?
If they still need to show stuff, you cannot.
No.
Because basically anything from it will take like.
Okay. Okay.
You know what? I'm shocked. I can give you by about this tax.
I still haven't been to the high school.
What do you guys have?
And I transferred. Yeah, I know he dropped it. Yeah, I know. Dang it. But I know he did not. Oh, okay. That's really Oh yeah, fucking Max. How late? Are we talking about like wood grain? Like just wood grain light or like your light? Okay, yeah, I can tell. Hayden McKay and it's spelled like that. The dead gift. Yeah, that doesn't mean no, actually, it's yeah, Philippines. It's that and then basketball. I could not tell what his name was. So maybe that's like
Okay, everybody, if I could just have your attention for just a moment. I again just wanted to say thank you very much for being here today. We really appreciate it. And before I turn it back over to Ms. Karen, I just wanted to make sure, did everyone get a chance to cast a ballot who wanted to? Yes? Okay, great. So thank you again so much, and I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Karen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Anna Marie, for taking us through voter participation. Now we're moving on to voting. How do we critically analyze our ballot measures? We will have Danielle from the League of Women Voters of San Francisco, and she's the Vice President of Voter Services. And then following her, we will have Ms. Emily G., which will provide you with a voter VR headset demonstration. Danielle?
Hello. Let's see here, one second. Gotta get the other PowerPoint presentation. There we go. All right, my name is Danielle Deibler. I'm with the League of Women Voters of San Francisco. I know some of you are not from San Francisco, so there are leagues in Sacramento, Vallejo, Alameda County. They're all over the place. I think in California alone, we might have like 70 leagues. There's definitely a few thousand throughout the country. So the League of Women Voters is a San Francisco is a nonpartisan political nonprofit. That basically means we don't endorse candidates, we don't oppose candidates, and we don't oppose or endorse any type of political party. But we do sometimes study social issues, especially things around criminal justice or reproductive rights and health access, and we do sometimes take positions on those types of issues and do advocacy work on behalf of them. Despite the name, we've been around for a while, about 104 years. We do welcome all people. So we have male members, male board members, non-binary members, all kinds of people join the league. We also have a youth council. So if you're in San Francisco or even in the Bay Area, we have a few people that are from San Carlos, a few that are from San Mateo County, and a few even from down near San Jose that have joined up here. We do have a good set of opportunities for people. Sometimes you get on the radio. Sometimes you might host a candidate forum, one of our nonpartisan forums. We work with SFGovTV on those. So if you're a moderator, you do get the opportunity to be on cable television, YouTube. It's something to kind of build your portfolio if you're interested in going into something like, say, public policy when you get older. And then Emily is going to actually do the demo after this, but I'm going to let her talk really quickly about her VRing Democracy project.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. My name is Emily, and I'm a youth council member at the League of Women Voters. So far, it's been an amazing experience. I had the opportunity to host a podcast just this Wednesday with a local leader. I love my experience so far, so I definitely recommend you look into that if you're interested. A little bit about VRing Democracy. So I started this project in collaboration with two other co-founders, and we started building or coding in April, and just this month, we kind of finished our final stages of the coding process. And what it's about getting people that don't know how to vote or are kind of hesitant, don't know what the polling process is like, to get into this immersive, multilingual VR experience and kind of understand what they have to do when it comes to Election Day. The headset is featured in English, Mandarin, and Spanish. So that's a little bit about us, and then following the presentation, I'm going to give a brief demonstration. I'm going to pass it back to Danielle.
Great. Thank you, Emily. All right. So I'm going to pass it off actually to Connie, who's going to talk to you, if say it's your first time voting, how you vote in a San Francisco election and how you get information. And if you are familiar with ballots at all here, you know that not only does San Francisco love our ballot measures, but so does California. So it is a big ballot for this election. If it's your first time voting, it could be a little daunting.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Connie, and I'm with the League of Women Voters, and I'm actually I'm the chair of the Pro-Con committee. So what we do is we have We research all of the ballot measures and just do a simple ballot, simplified language. This is what you're voting on. If you vote yes, it's this. If you vote no, it's this. These are the arguments for, these are the arguments against, so that you can see very easily and understand what it is that you're voting for. So how do you do this on your own? So wherever you are, I know not all of you are from San Francisco, but probably your elections department in the city or county where you live is going to have similar resources and similar websites. But in San Francisco, we have our Department of Elections, and you can go on their website, and I've got kind of some screenshots off to the right, which are probably really too small for you to see, but you go onto their website, and you can get all of the information. They have links of what is exactly on the ballot. You can look at the ballot measures, read not only the legal text if you're really wonky like that, or you can also just get a simplified version in plain language of what it is that the ballot measure says. That's a great resource to really get to what is it that the ballot measure is saying, because if you're paying attention, especially during election season, you're going to see a lot of ads, a lot of things on social media of vote for this, don't vote for that, and a lot of information trying to sway you one way or another. And what we're all about is trying to make sure that you make an informed decision so that you know exactly the pros and cons of it and exactly what the measure says, because believe it or not, you can't believe everything on the internet. And if somebody is trying to sway you, there's probably a reason, and the resources that we're discussing today will give you some of the way to try and check what it is that, why it is some people are trying to sway you one way or another. Going through, there's also the Ethics Commission, kind of segueing onto that. The Ethics Commission in San Francisco shows you where the money is coming from. So a lot of these ballot measures are supported by different organizations, different individuals that will throw a lot of money either for or against a measure. So that's kind of a good background information, background check of like, hey, who is it that's supporting this and what are they all about and why are they throwing all this money at it? The other thing is the Board of Supervisors. In San Francisco, the Board of Supervisors will bring a lot of initiatives. They'll vote on a lot of initiatives that will become ballot measures. So if you're in San Francisco and you know where you're living and you know who your supervisor is, I encourage you to reach out, get to know them, have them get to know you, talk to them about things that are important to you and they will listen to you, and they have published phone numbers and emails and everything, and I'm sure it's the same in whatever city that you live in. You have a representative, kind of as we were discussing at the beginning of this whole presentation, you are in an area where you have an elected official that represents you. So they want to hear from you. They want to know what's important from you. And whether you're 16 and not registered to vote, they know you will one day be a registered voter and will be their constituent. Or if you're already a registered voter, they know that you have the power to kick them out of office. So they will listen to you. So here's some nonpartisan websites that are also available. And again, these will give you unbiased information. Ballotopedia is, you can go in there, it's not just for San Francisco, you can put in your address and it will tell you, okay, you live in Sacramento, this is what's on your ballot. And so you can get a look at all of the issues and everything. Cal Matters also has a California voter guide, local ballot search, Vote 411, and also League of Women Voters, also plugging my Procon guide there. So, and then other credible sources, again, use these with a grain of salt. Obviously, if you're using a search engine to research an issue, you may find biased information, but you can at least see what arguments or information is out there. Finding local news sources is also a good resource. websites, public radio, TV stations, they can give you kind of a more local perspective. So you can hear kind of, okay, these are the arguments that your neighbors are saying, or those kinds of things. So it can be specific to your. So thought I'd go through an example of, and I think I have these set up. So if you're in San Francisco and you see that there's Prop K, you may not understand what it is, but the proposal is to block off part of the Great Highway to create a larger park. So how did that get on the ballot? So I brought up the Board of Supervisors site here, and you can see that there was a hearing for this initiative ordinance to put this on the ballot. And you can see here, it lists, you probably can't see it because it's so small, but you can see the list of all the supervisors that introduced it and voted for it. And then you can also see there's like links here to get details of the legislative action, also videos of the hearing, so you can see what the discussion was. If you go to the Board of Elections website, talks about this is the ballot measure. Can't see that. And then it also gives you, okay, here's the simplified digest, here's the legal, the controller's office, that's the financial people. They'll look at it and say, okay, it's going to cost this much money to do. So you can get research on that. There's people that have written in their proponent arguments against it. You read all that, and from that you can form your own opinion. The Ethics Commission will give you kind of you can see here's all the ballot measures. Whoops. I don't know what I just did, but anyway, the campaign finance website has all of the ballot measures, and then you can see those lines showing you all the dollars that were donated to the for or against arguments. And then Ballotpedia gives you information of what that ballot proposition is, and then again, here's your Board of Supervisors. You can see what they look like and get all of their information. So with that, I'm going to bring back oops, that's not it. There we go. And then turn it back over to Danielle. To go over the California. Right. And she's going to tell you about California as a whole.
All right, so for California, which is pretty much, I think, relevant to the entire audience, where do you start? So I did the pro-con for the State League for Proposition 35, so that's kind of what I'm going to run you through. The Secretary of State website is pretty much the best place to start. There is already legislation on there that is going to be on the ballot in 2026. They're really good at telling you what's qualified and not qualified for the ballot, and also understanding things that are in kind of what we would call the pre-qualification phase. So it's legislation that's going to get proposed that's going to need the voters to interface or to vote on it. So this is definitely the best place for you to get started. It gives you all the text for the official ballot measure, and it also provides you with kind of the official voter guides once they get there. And I would definitely say it's timing based. So if you're prior to the voting year and it's before Labor Day, a lot of stuff is still in flux sometimes. They haven't hit some of the deadlines for it to qualify for the ballot. So sometimes you have to really kind of scramble to find information when you're trying to put out some kind of a publication, like say your teacher gave you a paper and said, hey, I want you to have an opinion on Proposition 35, and I want you to find the pros and the cons, and I'd like you to tell me what your position is based on how would you vote for this, right, afterwards. So anyway, I'm not saying your teacher's going to do that because I'm not your teacher, but I did see a little sparkle in somebody's eye. Anyway, so then you want to get details on who's funding it, how much is it going to cost us, or how much revenue right? Sometimes ballot measures do make money for the state. It's not always that we're paying out. So the Legislative Analyst's Office is definitely the best place to get kind of the real up-to-date information. They have policy advice, and they have detailed analysis of what the financial impact is going to be. And that's whether it's going to be positive or negative, or if we're going to put out a bunch of money for this, but in 3 years, we'll be making $20 or $40 million, and that's why we're making this type of an investment. The next one is the California Secretary of State. So we circle back, we make a U-turn. A little bit later, kind of in the cycle, the Secretary of State will give us a campaign finance and lobbying information. And so what this is basically is people who register to say, I'm yes on Prop 35, and they register a campaign finance committee with the Secretary of State, and then they collect donations, and then they report on those donations, and the Secretary of State keeps track of all of the people that donated to those campaigns. So one thing to keep in mind, if you donate to a campaign, the reason why they ask you for, say, your information is because it is going to get reported on a publicly available website that says, hey, I'm for Prop 35, and I gave $10, right? Typically, it's a little bit higher for individual people's names, like it's when you donate $1,000 or $2,500 or $1 million. And many of these ballot props, this one, for instance, has $48 million on the yes side that got donated to it. And then again, we're going to go back to kind of the nonpartisan analysis. So Ballotopedia, Cal Matters, California Votes, all nonpartisan. These are going to be resources that are likely to come out after Labor Day in kind of the election year. And that's because they know everything that's going to be on the ballot. All those arguments that Connie showed you for the local stuff in San Francisco, that stuff will all be up and available for people to consume so that they can write kind of these digests so that regular people can read them and you don't have to necessarily read through all the legal text. And they do give you a lot of simplified explanations and then additional resources. Some of them consolidate and will help you understand not just who has put money into it, but who's endorsed it. Right? Who are people that share your values, that has endorsed a particular measure? That might be something that sways you to vote for or against something. And then I'm going to do a quick example of Prop 35, just so you can get a view of these websites real quick. Not that I believe all of you can probably browse the web quite well. So this is what the California kind of Secretary of State, their simplified election guide looks like, and it gives you a summary. This proposition is about providing permanent funding for Medi-Cal healthcare services, and it's an initiative statute. It'll tell you how many votes does it need to pass, right? Those types of things, what a yes and what a no means. It'll give you some information about the pro, like why do I want to do this? And you'll notice on this ballot measure, there is no con. Right? So no one came out against this ballot measure, and this is kind of rare, but no one came out against this. No one paid any money to say no on it, and nobody submitted kind of something that said, hey, I don't want to do this, and I want to be on the record that I don't want to do this. And then the other thing is the legislative analyst site. So they give you the analysis in the background, and this is going to be a lot about what's really going to happen, how much money are we going to spend, how much money are we going to save. And then this is the Cal Matters site. This is, again, they have like these little combined, so you can go to Prop 36 if you want to, and see that one, and you can go back to Prop 35. So they do everything, right, all of the different ballot measures. But for my purposes, I really only cared about Prop 35. This is our site for the League of Women Voters Educational Fund, and this is CAvotes.org. This is where we typically will publish nonpartisan guides for the ballot propositions for California. Ooh, come on, there we go. All right, and then this is the Secretary of State, kind of their ethics website, where they basically do disclosures. So you see, there are two committees that registered with the Secretary of State. One donated, one got $211,000 roughly in contributions, the other one about $48 million. If you click into the $48 million, because that number's a little bit, bigger in my opinion, so I'm a little bit more interested in what it is, who made up the group that donated that $48 million. I'm also very interested in this computer being more responsive. Hello. I know you're doing something. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. So, and then the other one that, to echo back to one of the things that Connie said, you can find your rep at findyourrep.legislature .ca.gov. So if you don't know who your representative is and you want to reach out to them, put your street address in. It'll tell you who your local state assembly members are. Call them. Right? They are definitely interested in hearing from their constituents. They want your feedback. They want, especially if you're a voter, but they also know, you know, if you're 16 or 17, you're going to vote for them in an election, and they want to be responsive to you. All right, hold on. Nope. Okay, so that one I got a little error on, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Let me see. I'm going to try that one more time. I think we'll probably share these slides, so I'm guessing that if you guys want to go look at this yourself, but what you basically would see if you clicked on this is a link to all of the different people, you know, Planned Parenthood of San Bernardino County, or Planned Parenthood of Alameda County, or yeah, I think that's their website's having a problem. We'll pop off that for the recording. So you could get a real detailed understanding of how much money people have put in, and if those are organizations that your values align with. Again, this is another way to kind of make a decision or pull together information to try to understand, you know, is this my value set? Maybe I want to vote for this, or I really don't like these people, so I want to dig in more and see whether or not I really do want to vote for it. And that's pretty much about it. Now we're going to hand it over to Emily. And you just want to make sure that you're at the mic.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Give me a second while I pull up the technology. While I'm organizing this, can anyone raise their hand if they've ever heard of virtual reality before? Okay, keep your hand up if you've ever tried on a VR headset before. Okay, that's a lot of you. I wasn't expecting so much people. Well, that's great. So I'm sure you already know how it works, but my application is a little bit different from what you might have seen before. This is probably your first time viewing it. And if you want a chance to try it on for yourself, be sure to head to VRingDemocracy.org, and you'll see a list of locations where we are at next and where we're at in your community. All right. My demonstrator would love to put the headset on. Yeah. Does that feel like tight enough? Yeah. Okay. Can you click confirm boundary? Where is that? Oh. Okay. Yeah, right there. Or maybe right here, create new. Maybe you might need to click create new boundary. Okay. The thing should pop back up and you should say okay. Or look around a little bit so it understands where you are. Okay. Now I need you to click the little black box. You see the little black one? Yeah. This one. Yes.
Welcome to VRing Democracy.
All right. Now we've entered into the application. The first thing I would love for you to do is hit interactions. Play around with your right joystick. Right. Okay. Select it using your pointer finger on here. Okay. Use your pointer finger and put it on this. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's head over to the documentation section first.
Please select all the documents that you have from this list.
All right, here we have a list of documents that you need in order to register to vote. That's a brief overview, and let's click on yes.
Great, you can go to the next interaction.
All right, click next interaction, please.
Hello there, I am Kate. The time is up. Please leave the voting line. Okay. Now you're going to have to make a selection. If someone tells you to leave the voting line, what are you going to do? You're going to say yes or you're going to say no? Say no.
Say no.
Say no.
Yes. No.
Looks like you know your rights.
Yeah, you know your rights. Okay, perfect. Click next interaction.
The voting machine seems buggy. What will you do now?
Okay, move forward a little bit. Move forward. Okay, and then look. Sorry. Stop moving. Okay, as we can see that there's an error with the voting machine. So what we have to do is we have to head over to the poll worker, and let's turn you back around. Okay. walk over to the poll worker and see what your next instructions are. Okay, if the online voting registration or the online voting form does not work, you gotta click ask for a paper ballot.
You have asked for a paper ballot. That's correct. Great job on knowing your rights.
Okay, click next interaction. Yeah, click next interaction on the bottom.
Please cast your vote in the machine.
Oh, you moved a little farther than you had to. Okay, and then look back. Okay. Now you have an option to select between two candidates. This is like an example. Select any, it doesn't matter.
Looks like you cast a vote to someone other than whom you intended to. What will you do now?
So if you ever come across this issue where you accidentally selected a candidate that you didn't mean to select, what you have to do is head back to the poll worker the same way that you did before. Walk over, and you're going to ask for a new ballot.
You have asked for a new ballot. That's correct. Great job on knowing your rights.
All right, perfect. And then click SF, next interaction. And then this is going to lead you to Ballotopedia. Oh, thanks. So Danielle previously mentioned Ballotopedia and how of a great resource this is. But now that we're inside this like model home, let's click next and look at what this site actually looks like. And move a little closer so we could see what's inside. Yeah. And then feel free to click next a few times. These are a little bit of a screenshots from those apps, and you can see what it's like to look at a candidate and make informed decisions about your vote. Yeah, you can click keeping next. Okay, and then if you click next interaction, it will bring you back to the home page. So that is a little bit.
Please select all the documents that you have from this list.
That is a little bit of our current demo, and we are currently working after the November 5th election to make part of the headset be dedicated to having Gen Z a little bit more engaged civically, and we love to have other youth input. So if you're interested in giving us your input and how we can code our project to be better in the future, and have this like new part of our application, be sure to visit VRingDemocracy.org and contact us. Thank you guys so much for your time. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, we worked with a team of 5. They're from across the country. So I have my co-workers or co-founders in Massachusetts, actually Sacramento, and yeah, it's been great so far. If you're interested, we used Unity and Blender to code this project. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, thanks for asking. So you can't actually vote through virtual reality, not yet, but maybe sometime in the next century. This is more like an educational experience and trying to get you engaged civically, as you just mentioned. It's a lot about learning in an immersive and multilingual experience. So for example, if a voter were to come into this country for the first time and they're a new resident, and they only speak Spanish, our app is translated into Spanish, the text, but also the audio that you heard. So they could use this to make an informed, to go into the polling place as an informed voter, and they know what to do. That's the most important part. That's what our goal was. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone can just go online and search VRingDemocracy.org, VRING democracy.org, and you can look at our Quest location where you can find this next, and you can also look at our Instagram and see other ways you can engage with the organization in your community. Yeah. How much? Oh, how long? Yeah. We started, sorry? Okay, yeah. We begun the idea, the brainstorming back in April. We applied for a grant of around like $20,000 to 50, and we got that around the summer. So we were coding most of the summer. That's what most of our time was spent towards. And the headset only came in 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I've only had the headset for 2 weeks, but we've been coding it for the past few months. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. The headset itself costs $500. So we applied for a grant to get that money, but the grant that we got actually allowed us to have multiple headsets in multiple locations. So there's going to be one in Sacramento sometime soon because one of my co-founders lives in Sacramento. So anyone from Sacramento, be sure to be on the lookout on our Instagram for when the Quest is going to be in your location. And yeah, the coding Unity, Blender, they're free softwares. Anyone can use them. How I started getting into coding, specifically for this project, was like going to my public library and taking like coding classes there. So it's also a great resource if you wanna create a project similar to this. Yeah. Can you say that one more time? Yeah. I took it 2 years ago, and it was only like during the summer. So that's where I took it. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Danielle and Emily, for taking us through voting and how we could look more at our ballots and a new and creative way of being engaged with voting. At this time, we will have closing remarks by our NCNW Northern California Region President, Ms. Donna Wood. Please come forward.
You spent the day with us, and I can't say thank you enough. I just want to tell you who we are. We're the National Council of Negro Women. We're an organization that's 90 years old. And I'm happy to say that your host section today, the San Francisco section, was chartered by our founder in 1953. So thank you. We're particularly proud of the fact that we have a chapter hosted by her. So I want to let you know that as community leaders, as educators, it's important that we ensure you as students learn how to become active participants in our democracy. That's why you're here today. And it's never, ever, ever too late to become motivated to learn how to vote. So I want to remind you that you go back to your communities, your schools, your school districts, and encourage them to do something similar to this in your own communities. You know, in 2024, there are more than 100 voter education programs going on today. High School Voter Education Week is this week. Today is the last day, so you're celebrating with us. I want to let you know that the goals of the week was to first bring civic awareness to all of you, your future voters, your future leaders, future virtual voters, from what I see, inspire and encourage the 16 and 17-year-olds to get ready for the future by registering to vote now so that in November 2025, you can vote, and on. The other thing I wanted to encourage you to do is encourage your friends and your classmates to do the same. You have no idea. I was just telling Greg that the voter registration law was passed in 1965. I voted for my first time. I was 18 years old. The voting bill was only 2 years old. The things you're going to see and do in your lifetime, over your adult years, and the opportunity to vote on them is priceless. And so I encourage you to do that. And I thought I'd just give you a data point that might make you feel a little bit better about why your being here today is so important. California has registered more than 1.2 million students have either been registered or pre-registered to vote. And as of today, that is more than 1.5 million young adults who voted in the last election. So you can imagine what it's going to be like on November the 5th. So I encourage you all to take it to heart, that the opportunity to vote is a birthright and a right of citizenship. Take it seriously. Practice it for the rest of your life. And now I want to just take a moment to thank a few folks. I first want to thank the City of San Francisco, your elections and community outreach group for hosting us today and for supporting this program. We are just happy and proud to partner with you. Thank you so very much. I also want to thank Jeff. You made learning fun, you made learning interactive, and you held these children's attention in your hand for more than an hour, and I want to say thank you again. I look forward to working with you again. I also want to say thank you to the San Francisco League of Women Voters. Wow, you guys have been doing this for a generation all across this country, and I thank you for the information you brought today and for the view into the future. I also want to let you know that our founder, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, has a membership with the San Francisco section named after her. So that just tells you that you're in good company. And then next, I want to thank the San Francisco section for your opportunity to work with this project, to bring it to our attention, and all the hours of hard work and coordination that you have done. And then lastly, more importantly, to thank you for being here today. It's Friday afternoon, there's a football game, there's a dance coming up, homecoming or whatever, and you took the opportunity to be with us to learn how to become a better citizen and hopefully to practice your birthright to be a voting citizen in the United States of America. So we hope you enjoyed the time that you spent with us today. We are certainly proud that you've joined us. Spread the word, share the knowledge, and encourage your colleagues to register and vote, and be registered to vote on November the 5th of 2024. Yes?
Thank you, Director Wood. Coming from Vallejo, I'd like to thank Mr. Lewis Brown and the students from Vallejo High School. Thank you so much. And I'd also like to thank the cohorts because the San Francisco section co-hosted with the Golden Gate. So I'd like to thank
Wonderful. Thank you.
as well as Ms. Lisa Harris.
Yes.
And I'm the new president of the San Francisco section.
Perfect.
So I just would like to thank all the students from Sacramento as well as San Francisco, and I adore Vallejo High School. And
Yeah.
see you all on Tuesday,
Impressive group.
because we have another voters registration day on Tuesday.
Thank you. So thank you very much. Now, I'm going to turn the mic back over to Sister Karen because I think she has one more thing to say to you and then a parting gift. All right? Thank you so much again.
Thank you, President Wood, and thank you to Ms. Hunter for your words. I just want to say I am ecstatic. I didn't think this day was going to get here, but it's here. And sometimes when you're putting in work, you don't know how it's all going to fall out. But I am so happy that you all chose to be here today and to share in this experience. And before you leave, we have gift bags for every youth that is here with us. There are also, what I would like you to do, if you could please do this for us, there are evaluations and there are surveys also in your bags. If you would please do those for us before you leave. And again, I want to say to each of you who participated on this program, those of you who are here from our various sections across the northern regions, we say thank you, thank you, thank you.